Hi, my name is Shrans, and today we are going to talk about a company whose products you would have seen countless number of times all around you. In fact, it is very likely that even your family owns a product that is being made by this company. But before we start, it is very important to understand that this is not investment advice. What we're trying to do here is just understand the financial performance and position of the company. All right, so let's get started. The company that I'm talking about is Hero MotoCorp, right? So I'm sure you would have seen its bikes and scooters running all around on roads. And I'm quite sure that even your family, or at least someone in your neighborhood, has a bike or has a scooter that is being made by this company. So let's look at the financials of this company. Right, as you know, it manufactures and sells two-wheelers, but also spare parts and provides related services, which is a natural extension of the main product that the company sells. So let's start with the financials, right? So now, if you look at the revenue, EBIT, and PAT, the thing to notice here is that the growth hasn't been very consistent, and overall also the growth hasn't been the best, right? So revenues up only 1.5x, EBIT also 1.5, PAT slightly better 1.9x, but it's like it's just doubled in a 9 to 10 year period. And if you look at the growth rates here as well, so right, in 1 year and in a year here, it has been good positive figure, double digit growth, but in other years it's been very very low, and in the most recent year it has actually gone down, right? With EBIT and PAT, it's slightly more volatile, right? Because EBIT fell here. So EBIT has fallen in actually 3 years, and PAT has also fallen in 3 years, right? And there have been sort of, more volatility compared to revenue. So if you look at the revenue, then the maximum growth is 21.6%, which was in the earliest year of this period, and the minimum is 14.3%, which is in the most recent period. With EBIT, you have, maximum growth of 38%, which was in FY16, with PAT also maximum growth of 32.5% in FY16, right? And the minimum growth of minus 27.5% in the most recent year, and minus 10.9%, which was in FY13. So as you can see, it's very volatile. It's increasing, it's decreasing, or if it's increasing at a very good rate, or it's decreasing also at a very high rate. And this is something that you can probably expect from a company in this industry, although we'll come back to this later as well. All right. Now looking at the cash flow from operations, so I mean, overall, if you see that the total cumulative cash flow of 10 years is greater than the cumulative profit, it's about 1800 crores, right? But on a percentage terms, it's just slightly greater. But it's a good thing that the company has strong cash conversion, right? And this is something that we can understand. But just apart from this 1 year here, where there seems to be something abnormal happening, right? Because it has fallen from almost 4,000 crores to just less than 1,000 crores. It's almost a 75% fall, and then it has risen back again to 5,400 crores, right? Like it's almost gone up what up to 5 times, right? So this is something that's probably we can go to the cash flow statement to figure out that what really happened here. There could be changes in working capital, or there could be other reasons as well. But this is the only thing that seems slightly off here, right? Now, talking about the other two elements, which are cash flow from investing and cash flow from financing. So, if you look at the cash flow from financing from year to year, right, obviously the company makes continuous reinvestments into fixed assets, right, in order to grow further. But there are also substantial investment transactions, right? So, the company probably has excess cash, which is it is not using at the moment, so it places it on temporary deposits and earns some sort of interest. Sometimes it loses those investments as well, a small amount. So there have been net investment transactions as well, and there have been continuous reinvestments into the fixed assets. The company has continuously purchased fixed assets. Now, with cash flow from financing, the thing to understand here is that most of this actually relates to dividends, right? There have been very, very few borrowing transactions, right? And even if there are any borrowing or other financing transactions, the amount is not really material when you look at the whole picture, right? Mostly it is related to dividends, and so the company has continuously been paying dividends, right? Okay, now coming to the balance sheet items. So if you look at equity, right, so equity has gone up considerably, right? So whereas only 1.5x revenue or 1.9x PAT, but equity is up 4.8x, right? So I mean, that is very very solid, right? If we understand the book value of equity. The reason we can understand here is that first of all, it started with a very low base, and now it's increasing steadily, right? Although despite of the slight volatility impact, right? So the capital base at the start was not so big, equity being a part of it, but with consistent contribution, it has kept on growing, and despite paying out dividends as well. So that is a very solid sign, right? And if you compare this with non-current liabilities, so non-current liabilities have more or less been immaterial, right? Or even if you look at the overall leverage position, which we'll go to later, I mean, the company has very comfortable solvency position. And so you can notice here that in these 5 years, the amount of non-current liabilities has been higher, right? And I checked that what is the reason for that, and the breakup, most of it was attributable to provisions, right? So this is something interesting. This is something that we need to evaluate, that what are the reasons behind this provision, right? Is it due to some sort of warranty services or something else or whatever? But this is something that has gone up. These are not majorly borrowings, majorly it's provisions, very few borrowings, if any, in current and non-current liabilities, right? Okay. Now, non-current assets, as it's very visible, the company has continuously reinvested, and even if you look here, it was the uh, non-current asset base was, I mean, considerably smaller, right? If you compare it against the revenue, so revenue of almost 19,400 crores on a asset base of almost 5,000 crores, and now the asset base is almost 11,500 crores, but the revenue is only 28,800 crores, right? So this is something that we can understand here, right? Now, broadly, the trend in current assets have and in current liabilities, actually, the working capital, what we call it as well, it's been slightly more volatile than revenue, and this is understandable because there are a lot of items impacting it. And current liabilities probably had a very high amount here, but then after that, it has been broadly been playing around in a sort of range, right? So if you look at the highest is this 4,423 is here is the highest, and the lowest is about 3,448. So within, let's say, 1,000 crore range, the current liabilities have been there. Current assets have kept on increasing as well, because you would expect the company to have substantial inventory as well, right? And because it's a cyclical business, then things don't always happen at time. They're happening either before or after. So that is why. Okay. Now let's just quickly go through the growth rates of high level financials, right? And then we'll move on to the metrics. So if you look at the growth, we've talked about revenue, EBIT, and PAT. I mean, poor and volatile. Those are the two words that we can, expect or take away from here. With CFO as well, you can understand the volatility at least in CFO, but in these years, right, and in FY18 to FY20, we have to figure out that what's really happening there. Equity, very solid, very strong, right? Because it was starting from a lower base. Assets have been continuously, reinvestments into assets. These are total assets, not just non-current assets. With liabilities as well, they've been very insignificant non-current liabilities, and even with the current liabilities, they are comfortably being covered by the current assets, right? Now let's quickly move on to the metrics, right? So if you look at the metrics, and if you also looked at the financial performance of the company, you'd realize that the growth wasn't really there, but still, the equity compounded very heavily, right? And this is something that you can figure out due to the metrics, because if you see the return on capital, return on equity numbers, these are just staggering. These are very, very solid numbers, right? The minimum return on capital employed is 19.8%, and the minimum return on equity is 25.7%. So these are very, very solid figures, right? And it's probably the first time it's fallen below 20%. And even if you look at the initial 5 year period, right, this is why you can understand that how was equity compounding so well, because the company was able to generate a lot of revenue and translate it into profit on a relatively smaller capital base, right? Now the capital base has expanded, so you can see that the numbers have contracted slightly, but still these are very, very solid numbers, right? I mean, 25% return on equity, not a lot of companies in India can produce that, right? So slightly declining, but still very solid numbers, and you can expect them to slightly decline because the capital base is now increasing as well. So also let's break this down into return, into the margins and the asset utilization. So if you looked at the margins are not the best, to be honest, right? I mean, this might be a sign of the industry as well, but the margins have broadly been playing around in a particular range, right? So the maximum EBIT margin here was 14.7%. The maximum PAT margin was in this year, which is 11.8%. So the margins aren't the greatest, right? But the company is producing good returns, good solid returns in capital, and the reason behind that is asset utilization, as you talked about. So if you could look here, I mean, the company's revenue is 4x of its capital, right? And here it's almost also about 1.8x of its capital, right? Or 1.45. The company's revenue is 1.45x of its total assets. So if you look at these years, and probably even this year as well, okay, we'll remove this year. These 5 years, the company was producing 4x revenue on an existing capital base. So these are very staggering numbers. Again, as expected, these have fallen below slightly because the capital base is expanding and the company is finding it slightly challenging to grow as well. But very solid asset utilization, so to speak, right? Okay. And we'll also take a look at now the leverage and solvency position. So assets by equity, earlier the equity base was not so large, but then as the equity base kept on expanding and the leverage has more or less been insignificant, right? So you could see that now it is at the lowest of 1.4x, right? Earlier it was high here in these years, right? But then it has, kind of gone down very considerably, and the leverage isn't really material. It's very insignificant. The cash conversion, I mean, very solid cash conversion, except for the 1 year here, as we talked about a couple of times already, right? Cumulative PAT is greater than cumulative cash flow, and in most years, the company is actually able to, translate most of its earnings to cash as well. Non net working capital, we've talked about it. In the first year, the current liabilities were very high, but after that, there's been a very comfortable liquidity position with respect to the current assets and current liabilities, right? And we also have to understand that the inventory position might also be significant in this company, right? Talking about the non-current liabilities to equity, so I mean, this immaterial. This is just not very important to really look at because this is very low, and most of the non-current liabilities are actually provisions and not borrowings that have to be repaid or which cause a lot of interest, right? Okay, so now let's quickly wrap up with the highlights, right? So consistent but low revenue growth, right? So revenue growth has been slightly more consistent, right? But it's very low, more inconsistent and slightly lower EBIT growth, and more inconsistent and slightly higher PAT growth. So I mean, it's difficult to really pin down what's really happening with respect to the revenue, EBIT, and PAT. Broadly, the trends upwards, but it's not that great. The growth is not that great. CFO greater than PAT in 5 out of the last 10 years. Cumulative CFO is greater than cumulative PAT. So cumulative CFO is almost 30,000 crores. This is almost 28,200 crores or 28,100 crores, right? Very healthy growth rate in equity, right? And this is something that we've seen. So equity is up 4.8x. If you looked at the compounded annual growth rate, it's 19%, right? So this is a staggering number. This is a very solid number, right? Then the financial leverage as its lowest 1.4x that we've seen. Most major non-current liability are provisions, right? So we'll have to see that what is the nature of this provision. It is sort of related to repairs or related to employee benefits, or so this is something that we need to look at. That what's the breakup of the provision, right? Consistent reinvestment into assets along with investment transactions. This is something that I've kind of talked about, and the regular dividend payments. So this is also something very nice on part of the company, right? Return on capital greater than 25% in 9 out of 10 years. Return on equity greater than 25% in all 10 years. So these are very, very solid numbers, right? EBIT and PAT margins have broadly been maintained. We've talked about the highest and lowest. These are low margins, but these have been maintained, right? Very strong asset utilization. Capital turnover greater than 2x in 9 out of 10 years. Asset turnover greater than 1.5x also in 9 out of 10 years. So very, very strong on the asset utilization, on the capital utilization front, right? Low growth. So if you were to conclude, then low growth, to be honest, right? Very poor growth, but very strong financial position and very strong financial performance, right? Position in terms of solvency, because I mean, the equity is very strong, and performance also in terms of the returns on capital that it is able to produce, right? Returns on capital and also the asset utilization. Even with low margins, it's able to produce that, right? Also, one important thing that I want to talk about here is if you look at the cash flow from operations, investing, and financing. So if you look at the sum here, it's a positive 110, right? Which basically my understanding here is that company is producing enough cash flow to reinvest into the business, right? So if you look at the net reinvestment here, and also to pay out to its shareholders. So this is a strong sign on part of the company, and it has not also taken any sort of external capital as well, right? So the company is able to produce enough cash to reinvest into its business and to pay out its shareholders. The challenge for this company is growth, right? Or now two-wheelers can be an automobile as an industry is quite cyclical, but we can expect two-wheelers to be slightly more resilient. And if the company can come back on to its growth path, then we can see these financials to be very, very strong, right? So right now growth seems to be a challenge. So this is all that I had to share about this company. If you found this helpful, then please share it with a friend. If you have any questions or want to discuss anything, then you can drop in the comments below. The link to the Excel sheet is available in the description. And if you want to receive this and much more, please subscribe. And you can also sign up for updates on email or WhatsApp in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again with another company.